a lot of the noise is fear. And I think that the useful way to make decisions is to not compare the positives with the negatives of something, because when you do that, the negative portion of your brain takes over and you really wind up comparing negatives to negatives. You wind up making the safest choice, the most conservative choice, the least bad choice. What's, I think, a more useful way to think about it is to only compare positive to positive. So if you have, 3 options of things you can do with your life, rather than saying like, well, what happens if this goes wrong? What happens if this goes wrong? What happens if this goes wrong? Only ask, what happens if it goes right? Like, what is the world that you can imagine if option A works out? What's the best world you can imagine if option B works out? What's the best world you can imagine if option C works out? Assuming that you can do any one of them and they're all going to work out, what's the best one? And you pick the one that's the most awesome, not the one that's the least bad, that's the most awesome. And I think some of the best decisions that I've ever made in life, I've made like that. And most of my biggest mistakes have come when I've tried to pick the safe outcome. I think a lot of people are confused about risk and reward. And people think that being an entrepreneur is very risky because you have the risk of failure. I think true failure is not trying.